You probably think rich people win because they have more money, better connections, or secret opportunities. But the strange truth is this: before they ever win in the real world, they win inside their own brain. Wealthy people quietly run psychological tricks on themselves every single day. Tricks so subtle that most people never notice them happening. And the most shocking part is this: these tricks are not about intelligence, luck, or talent. They are about how you talk to your own mind. Once you see this pattern, you cannot unsee it, because suddenly you realize something uncomfortable. Your brain might be working against you. Here is the weird question most people never ask. Why do two people see the exact same opportunity, but only one of them moves? One person hesitates, overthinks, and waits for the perfect moment. The other person acts immediately, even when things are uncertain. Same world, same risks, completely different decisions. Rich people are not immune to fear, doubt, or hesitation. Their brains generate the same worries your brain does. So why do their decisions look so different? The answer is a psychological switch they flip inside their mind. A small internal trick that silently changes how their brain interprets reality. Imagine this: you see a business idea and instantly think, what if this fails? Your brain stops you before you even start. Now, picture someone wealthy seeing the same idea and thinking, what if this works? Another moment. You hesitate to invest because losing money feels painful. Meanwhile, someone else sees that same risk as a learning fee. Or think about networking. You might worry about looking awkward, but another person simply assumes people will like them and starts the conversation anyway. The situations are identical. The external world has not changed. The only difference is the story running inside the brain. Your brain is not designed to make you rich. It is designed to keep you safe. Psychologists call this loss aversion. Your mind naturally exaggerates potential losses and minimizes potential gains. That is why a small risk feels huge, while a big opportunity feels uncertain. Rich people do not remove this bias. Instead, they reprogram how their brain interprets risk. They deliberately shift their internal narrative. Instead of asking, how bad could this go? They ask, what is the cost of not trying? That single mental reframing changes how the brain evaluates decisions, turning hesitation into movement. But here is the twist that surprises most people. Rich people are not fearless. In fact, many of them feel more anxiety than average. The difference is not the absence of fear. The difference is the direction of fear. Instead of fearing failure, they start fearing missed opportunities. Their brain begins to treat inaction as the bigger risk. Imagine living in a mental world where doing nothing feels more dangerous than trying something uncertain. When that psychological switch flips, your behavior automatically changes. You start moving faster, experimenting more, and noticing opportunities other people walk right past. This shift is not just logical, it is deeply emotional. Your brain stores memories of embarrassment, mistakes, and rejection. Those memories whisper warnings every time you consider something bold. That is why hesitation feels so intense in your chest. Your nervous system is trying to protect you from repeating past pain. Rich thinkers gradually train their brain to associate excitement with uncertainty instead of danger. Over time, the emotional signal changes. The same situation that once triggered fear now triggers curiosity. It feels less like stepping into a trap and more like opening a door that might lead somewhere unexpected. This is where awareness becomes powerful. Once you notice it, you begin hearing the hidden sentences your brain constantly repeats. Better not risk it. What if people judge me? Maybe later. These thoughts feel like reality, but they are simply protective scripts. Wealthy thinkers slowly replace those scripts with new internal questions. Not motivational slogans, just subtle mental nudges. Questions that keep the brain exploring instead of retreating. When the internal dialogue changes, perception changes. Suddenly, opportunities appear less like threats and more like experiments. And experiments are easier for the brain to accept than life or death decisions. So remember the question from the beginning. Why do two people see the same opportunity but react completely differently? The answer is not intelligence. It is not background. It is the quiet psychological trick happening inside their mind. One brain interprets uncertainty as danger. The other interprets it as possibility. That tiny interpretation gap compounds over time. One person collects missed chances. The other collects experience, connections, and momentum. After years, it looks like luck. But it started with a small internal decision. A decision about which voice inside your head gets to control the story. Once you notice this mental trick, everyday situations start looking different. A risky idea suddenly becomes a question worth exploring. A conversation with a stranger becomes a possible connection. Even failure starts looking less permanent. So here is something I want you to think about. The next time your brain says, "What if this goes wrong?" Pause for a moment. Because that voice might just be the safety system that kept your ancestors alive. Not the system that builds extraordinary lives. Now I am curious about you. What opportunity did hesitation make you walk away from recently? Your brain is the most powerful storyteller you will ever live with. Every day, it quietly decides whether the world looks full of danger or full of possibility. Most people never question the story. They simply live inside it. But the moment you realize the story can be edited, everything shifts. The same mind that once stopped you can become the mind that pushes you forward. And that realization is strangely freeing. Because the biggest psychological advantage rich people have might not be money at all. It might simply be the version of the story they trained their brain to believe.